What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today's video, we're going to be talking about some fleet, hence the fleet gameplay right now. I'm climbing right now to show you guys a counter that I've been using to Leviathan, and I'm sure you guys already know about it, but I just want to kind of go over a bit of a guide as to how you can almost always win it, and you don't have to stress about losing, especially in those Grand Arena, those rounds where you just gotta clutch up fleet. Um, I think this is important for a lot of different ways. After this battle, I just want to talk a little bit before I go into it, though, is because a lot of people, in terms of the ground, so just normal characters and GAC and those counters, they like to save a lot and not necessarily cheese, but they like to get pretty good banners. And so if you're doing that, you got to really make sure that for fleet that you're still doing really good, regardless of whatever ground looks like. You still want to make sure that your fleet is good and they're getting a pretty nice counter every single time. Right here, we're using my Leviathan. In terms of my defenses and offenses in GAC for fleet, I like to use my Leviathan for offenses against a possible Profundity, or sometimes, against negotiators like right now, or sometimes even Executor. So usually my way I go about things is, hang on, I gotta take this off auto because I want to use that basic on that one new ship. I don't even remember the name of it, but it's the one ship that has like the B1 stacks. What is this guy called again? It's the Interceptor. That's what it's called. But what I usually have been doing lately in GAC is using Leviathan on offense, also using Negotiator, and then keeping my Chimera. I'll also keep my Finalizer just in case I do happen to stumble across an Executor and I have to counter all these guys. Basically, what those offenses allow me to do is to basically always full clear regardless of whatever they set on me. It just makes it a little bit easier. The biggest counter out of all three. So let's say they set Profundity. Let's say that they set Leviathan and they set Executor. So usually what that would look like is, I know that Negotiator with the Marauder is a really cool counter to some of those different lineups, but I don't find it to be super effective depending on the certain lineups that they set on me. So what I've been doing lately is, let me try to kind of explain it the best I can. What I've been doing lately is using my Chimera counter to Leviathan, which is the counter I want to go in depth on today. And then I use usually Leviathan versus Profundity, and then I like to use Finalizer versus the Executor. And that tends to give me a pretty clean round win on the fleet. So today is mostly this counter. I feel like the Leviathan is one of the most difficult teams to fight in fleet. And most guys, if they have him 7-star Leviathan, they're going to set him on defense. So that's just kind of the way it goes. But today we're going to go over this counter using the Chimera. And just these guys right here. We're using TIE Advanced. So that's Vader's ship. We got TIE Fighter. We got Scythe. We got, most importantly, the Defender. And then the Interceptor. So all these guys play a pretty big part into some in some way of this counter. Chimera is awesome because you have that awesome insta-kill. The two big parts, though, of this, I guess there's three. There's the Dispel from Scythe that gives you some of those extra bonuses from the buffs that he gives. And then also just the dodge. The dodge between TIE Fighter and the TIE Defender are clutch here. I like the Interceptor Reinforcement because it cleans up the debuffs and you can inflict buff immunity, which is awesome on some of the enemies. But also we can give out another Foresight, which is sweet. So let's go into it, guys. So we're fighting a guy that has a Relic 9 Sith Assassin, and some of those Sith Assassins can be kind of annoying. Especially I found it in mirror matches. If you have a Relic 9 Sith Assassin, you almost always win in a mirror match. But I don't have a Relic or a 7-star Leviathan, so I can't quite do that. But anyways, let's get into this counter. I always use this special first with TIE Fighter. I always use this guy to just inflict some of those debuffs, but more importantly with that special, it's to give Vader some turn meters, so that way he can get to do a basic with his turn, or not, gosh, what am I trying to say? Using Vader's first special gives him turn meters, so that way he can do a basic after Scythe dispels. So on this reinforcement is Defender, the first reinforcement, and we're going to use the stun onto the Marauder, and then now we're going to use the dispel, which is the first special. Let's do that. And so with using that Vader's first special, we can now move over to Sith Assassin. Really, whatever the third person here is, you always want to hit them. just because these guys have this annoying bulwark, stable bulwark, whatever. It just, you can't one-shot them. Vader, you still have a chance of not one-shotting, but this one can't be evaded, and Vader does do a pretty big number on his basics. So let's try to see if this one-shots Sith Assassin. If not, no worries. And awesome, this time it did. So the critical will almost always kill that character. I've never seen a time where I've used this counter where it doesn't. Okay, so after we kill that Sith Assassin, it was a Relic 9-1, by the way, we're going to go back to our Chimera. I like to use this one that removes some turn meter and inflicts speed down. Just kind of, you know, makes me cycle back to my turns a little bit quicker. And then I'm going to use basics with TIE Defender. So this first reinforcement is the, what's it called again? The Interceptor, their Interceptor. And now you got, you know, stun on my Defender. Not really awesome, but I got Scythe still alive. So let's go and clean up, not really clean up, but give some more bonus protection to my Defender because she is the one that's out taunting basically. And then, yeah, basics, dodge there. Okay, so now we got enough turn meter from the dodges to get another reinforcement, and we're going to go for the R Interceptor, the prototype. This is, I believe this is second sister ship. Okay, so now, well, we have a couple different options. I really don't care much early on if this is the first reinforcement to go after this guy because of all those extra stacks. So what I like to usually do is just to give out a bit more foresight. This first special, it says here that she deals damage, gain foresight, and then if she already has foresight, she gives this to a random ally. So the two characters that benefit from giving the Chimera the Empire capital ship turn meter is this guy right here, the TIE Fighter, and then also my TIE Defender. So there's a, let's say like a 2 in 4, so like a 50% chance that one of these guys get it. This special doesn't really matter who it hits. Sweet. So that time it targeted my my TIE Fighter, which is sweet. So I got a little bit more turn meter there. And so now I got my insta-kill. I'm going to just kill this Marauder guy because he's super annoying. Give this always to Defender. It just makes her a little bit more durable. She gets basically full health and protection, right? So now just use basics here. You want to just knock off the stacks of this Interceptor. Okay. And then, yeah, just keep doing basics. Whenever you do get foresight on your TIE Fighter, it's going to taunt. I think it's part of the Scythe's kit, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, a lot of dodges. Here, I could just finish her off, so just give that extra bonus attack to my Defender, and boom. So this is usually going to generate you about like a 68 to 70, 71 banner win in GAC, and I'll take that every single day of the week. So it's a pretty big counter, I would say. I'm going to go back into GAC to just kind of show you guys what I like to use usually in my GAC for fleet. Kind of going over here, this new round will start here. I do want to do a Grand Arena, maybe a live stream or just recording my battles. I think that would be really fun to do, but it's just really hard to find the right time, guys. Last round I did pretty much destroy. That was nice. Anyways, back to fleet. So this is what I like to sit on defenses, is Malevolence Executor in my Profundity. So what that kind of means is that when I counter other teams that I can use. So I guess against Profundity, I'll use my Leviathan against Executor. You can try that Negotiator counter with the Marauder, but sometimes it just doesn't work all the time. So it's a little bit more sketchy. I feel like my Finalizer counter is more of a, you know, consistent counter. And then let's say that the guy set Leviathan and we have to kill one of those. Well, we just went over that counter. So let's finish up talking about the mods, what the team looks like. I'm assuming that if you guys have to counter Leviathan, that you should have most of what I just showed you in that counter already up to snuff. Very rarely do you ever need to bring in any third reinforcement like we already went over. There's usually not any time to get that other person in. Kind of nice, though, if you wanted to end up using, let's say, another defensive team, or you want to use another cleanup, you can keep that Tarkin's Executrix for offense. You still have Emperor Shuttle. You have the TIE Bomber. You just don't have the awesome ones. So like this Defender, the TIE Fighter, some of those guys. But it still isn't too bad. What you can even do is, this is just another thought here before I get into this, is you can even set the TIE Bomber on defense with your Radis, your Profundity. And you can maybe block a mirror match. Because sometimes, you know, having that guy first reinforcement can kind of throw you off with the extra burning. So anyways, let's go into this. My character, before I got my Iden to Relic 5, I found this counter to still work good, but I was just losing some of the extra damage. So I had my Iden Relic 1 for like the longest time, and I finally decided to get her with all the 6E mods, and then just getting her with Relic 5. And I did get her Omicron, which has been nice in GAC. So all these things do add up into her survivability and her damage. I would say the relics and all the Omicron stuff and the 6E mods really impact her for the durability, because you do have to have her stay alive for pretty much the entire battle. And so having her with higher relics definitely does help keeping her alive. So there's that. And then I have here my TIE Fighter pilot. You don't have to have 6E mods on him, but if you get some of the Galactic Legend Journey Guide guys up, I think he is one of the requirements. Otherwise, I wouldn't probably have him at Relic 5. But he is 201 speed. He has about 95,000 health. He doesn't have any real 6E mods. Yeah, there's a bunch of, I guess, these are 5 dots, I guess. I don't know. They're just the... Yeah, they're the 5 dot. Just the gold 5 dots. And I have one purple up there. But yeah, he's a nice one to get. He does, I believe, because he goes very first, he gets some of that foresight going, and that's how you kind of generate your turn meter with the Chimera. Chimera, I guess, Relic 6. This one, I know this one is for Sith Eternal Emperor, so you got to have this guy, Relic 6, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, he has this awesome ultimate. It really saves your butt when you got to kill that super annoying Marauder, Sith Marauder, that is. Outside of him, Relic 7 Vader, he does have all 6E mods, so he has a bit more survivability, but also more damage. In this counter, I think it would be nice to get my Vader with Relic 8. I don't think I'd push Relic 9, but that extra Relic, I believe, would help me with extra damage and just making sure I can kill and one-shot that character almost always. But yeah, that's kind of it, guys. I think my second sister, she's Relic 7, and she's not crazy. You don't have to have her with really high relics to make that work all the time. But yeah, that's basically it. I guess that's about it. I already kind of started this video showing a counter against Radis, but I really mainly just wanted to go over the counter with Chimera versus Leviathan. But if you guys have any other ideas with how you would want to set your GAC up for a fleet, and like what you guys have found to be really useful and what works the best for you for offense and defense, please let me know down below in the comments, guys. But this is what's been working out for me almost all the time in GAC, and it's been pretty good. My shortcoming though in GAC is when I start to kind of suck in the character, like the ground aspect, right? Where I'm losing different GL counters, I'm losing my off meta counters. That's where I struggle the most. But in terms of fleet, I don't really find myself struggling too much. Very rarely do I ever have, in terms of the finalizer versus executor counter, some really bad RNG, but that's like maybe 30% of the time in that counter. So outside of that, I feel like I'm pretty confident in most of these ship counters. But guys, again, that's it for today's video. If you found it helpful or anything, let me know. And if you have any ideas for videos in the future, also let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all later. Peace out.